Welcome back to another video. In this update, we're going to be taking a look at a big pattern change here. We talked about this last week, but I wanted to wait before I go on vacation for the next few days. So I wanted to make a video today pretty much about what's going to be happening in the next coming days. We got a snowstorm for the Northeast. Our second snowstorm is now coming for the Northeast. That's going to be for the Thanksgiving day. That's going to be in the interior northeast, as we're going to have an interior nor'easter, most likely. So the first nor'easter of the season, and it's going to be an interior snowstorm with it. Coastal areas, going to be some rain and potentially some gusty winds, okay? That's not the thing I was wanting to talk about today. Today, I want to talk about an Arctic blast. That's going to be from the 30th all the way into at least December 10th. This could be like a 10-day Arctic blast or so. We just have to wait and see with the pattern in the future. Either way, this could really set up a massive late effect snow for many areas. Massive late effect snow. And then we got the Arctic blast, and then we got the drier and warmer conditions out in the west. It's going to be much warmer. So we're going to look at the National Weather Service watches and warnings. Really nothing for California, Nevada, Oregon, Idaho, anywhere in the western America. But we do have some winter storm watches and warnings and advisories for the mountains here of Utah area, and then some wind advisories. Besides that, then our focus pretty much comes here. And yes, this is not looking good. We have now late effect snow warnings. They only put these out when it's going to be a massive late effect snow event. And we're going to actually click into here and see what they are forecasting. Heavy late effect snow is expected. Multiple feet of snow will be possible through the weekend. Rates will average 2 inches an hour, but higher rates will be possible. So that means thunder snow, big time blizzard, across the lakes, and then some bands to move off. So this is really not good. They're calling for multiple feet, so potentially 2+ feet on right now they are calling for. That really tells you something, and they're probably going to extend this and then put some winter weather advisories further outwards. They do not have anything here, but now let's take a look at some of the models. So we're going to be taking a look at the HER model in this video on the storm for the Northeast. And let's just go into the Northeast and let's just watch this. So we're going to look at the NAM and the HER radar. So basically by tomorrow morning, midnight, we start getting some lighter rain and lighter snow for the mountains and the higher elevations, as we got 1,002 low right along the Appalachians. In the next, let's say 3 a.m. now, we are talking about a little bit more snow to be spreading over for the Pocono Mountains, outside of Scranton, northern Pennsylvania. Some light to moderate snow with some light to moderate rain. Some heavier rain closer to the low. That's expected as we have a strengthening low. Pretty much moving south and west with the low, and this kind of moves up than the Appalachians. It's about 5 a.m. in the morning. We got some rain showers and snow showers starting to enter Mass, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, and especially in the mountains can be snow. Northern Pennsylvania in the higher elevations will be snow. This is probably going to be less likely in the lower elevations than last time, but you do see the low continue to strengthen. This is an inland nor'easter that develops, so Miller B type nor'easter. This is by 6 a.m. Showers still not near Mass, like Boston, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. Some lighter rain showers and snow showers. Then we got some heavier rain down in southern Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, and some moderate to maybe even heavy snow now starting to make it into the mountains. Let's go into about 8 a.m. and we got some now heavier rains for like Allentown, the Poconos, central Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, in the yellows and darker greens. That's moderate to heavy rain. We see that low continue to deepen 998. We got some probably winds starting to come out of the east here as we are watching this, because right now the low is like that. Snows and all that. So let's take it a little bit more. So we go to about 10 a.m. in the morning, and now we have some lighter rain showers and some snow in the higher elevations in the mountain regions of Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and now Maine. Then we got that heavier rain moving now more north, even now into Scranton on north. And then northern Pennsylvania, probably some of that heavy snow, as now we see a low being transferred from southern Pennsylvania. It's going to be transferring off the coast. So Miller B, where we saw a low kind of like this, so the northern side here, seeing all that snow. So you see what I'm trying to get down here. Then we got some heavier rains coming in. This could be some feeder bands here. Nothing too strong with winds, as the low hasn't even deepened in the last few hours on her. Then we see that low actually go into northern Pennsylvania. And I mean, it transferred into a nor'easter, but it's technically not a nor'easter. I mean, I kind of thought it would be a little bit more off, but it's a little bit more of an, I'll call it an inland nor'easter because it's moving north. We're at a 995 low. I mean, you get it. The northwest winds, we got the northwest snow, closer to the low, and east is just plain old rain. All right. Still, lighter rains now starting to come into eastern Pennsylvania, as some heavier rain is starting to make it into southern Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, even parts of Maine in the lower elevations. So we continue to take a look, and this is kind of out of there in the Lehigh Valley by afternoon, 2 p.m. At this point, it's a 993 low, and we got some gustier winds on the northern side of this. Still snowing in upstate New York, all areas of that. And we kind of see this low go into southern Mass, where I will be at, and we're talking about like a 990 low. We got snow on the northern side, and then it transfer off the coast. This is why I think it will be like a little nor'easter in the inland parts, because then it transfer off the coast. So basically, we saw a track like this. Pretty much we saw a track like that. So that's why I'm calling it an inland nor'easter, because it wasn't like it was out there, but we still got the northwest winds. That's basically what a nor'easter is. They all come in different shapes, sizes, and locations, kind of. But you can tell we got some heavy snows from Maine, especially inland Maine, and then we got to deal with the cold. We see that late effect snow really taking in place on Friday here in Pennsylvania, New York. We got some snow showers, rain showers towards the south, but the main thing is going to be that late effect snow. So why are we talking about such a big late effect snow event? You see how we see these lines right here? You see where we're seeing these lines develop off the lakes? You see all these little lines right here? Those are snow bands. Those are late effect snow bands. What they are, pretty much near, very linear bands of snow that have 1 to 2 inches an hour at minimum. The strongest late effect snow band, I think, was about like 8 inches an hour. It's crazy. Last year we had a huge late effect snow event, caused like 100 inches in spots, like 80 something inches. It was very impressive. Now we go into the NAM that goes out a little bit further, and we're going to use 12Z because the NAM is kind of not there yet, but you can tell snow in the mountain regions. Low is actually a little bit more southern, comes off the coast south of Long Island, and then moves north and kind of just rides the coast with some heavy snow and about the same strength of a low. And then after that, once again, those late effect snow bands that will be persisting for hours. And we're going to have to watch for any of these bands to make it into central Pennsylvania, because you can always have that happen. So the total snowfall out of this snowstorm, I would figured, would be anywhere in the mountain regions of Pennsylvania, 3 to 6 inches. Upstate New York, up to 6 to 12 inches. Same thing for Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and I don't think it's going to be really snowing in Massachusetts or Connecticut. If anything, just an inch or two. But that's pretty much it with this storm system. Besides the rainfall, not going to be too much. A decent inch of rain, maybe an inch and a half, inch and a quarter in spots, but mainly about an inch of rain, nothing too fancy. We go into the big story is the GFS, EMC, and Euro. What are we seeing with this Arctic outbreak? And we're going to go actually a little bit farther out, and we're just going to look at some of the models. I'm not trying to make this such a long video, but at this point it's already becoming like that. So the GFS has, by December 1st, very cold air. So how do you know it's cold, Justin? You might be asking. So basically, you see where this blue line is? How it's ridging like that? And then you got a high pressure over here. And then you got a high pressure like off the map over here. Okay? What that's doing is dumping cold air into the northern parts of the United States. Okay? A lot of cold air. Nighttime temps in the 20s and teens. And look how long this lasts for. This pattern, this very cold line. So the blue line is about your freezing point, your 540 line. And you kind of see we get a lot of late effect snow. This kind of starts on Friday. And, it's still snowing by December 3rd. And then you see actually our first Alberta clipper. And this could drop 1 to 3, 3 to 6 inches in spots. And this goes to Pennsylvania, transfers a low off the coast. You even see even more of late effect snow now into December 4th. After that, you see another Alberta clipper. This one kind of tries to become a nor'easter with this colder air on the 12Z for December 6th. Never groups up, really, but then that brings even colder air. And you see how this just pattern is so favorable. Even into December 10th, you see a low to try and develop off the East Coast. And then you see after that maybe another little snow event for the December 12th. But you see how it's getting a little bit warmer and the pattern's kind of switching just a bit. We're going to have to watch that. And I'm going to make a video on that when I do come back because I'm not going to be gone for a while. And remember, this is 384 hours out. This is fantasy land. But still very cold air into the night times on December 13th. Nighttime temps in the teens. For a lot of the Northeast, Northern America, daytime highs only getting, around December 12th, 32 degrees. Very, very cold temperatures. So even with that little warming, still very cold. Talking about the 30s. And then this Arctic blast, you're looking at daytime highs in the 20s. For December 7th, your highs temps at this point becomes in the 20s, 18s, and you got a wind chill. So we are talking about very below average temperatures. Even some areas seem below zero, like December 8th and December 7th, even at night. And daytime highs only getting into the 20s. Very, very traumatic, right? And even after that, very cold air, daytime highs barely making it out of the 30s. And then real feel, honestly, is below 32. So, very, very cold temperatures is coming, even for the Euro. We just go 360 hours out. Yeah, you already see this pattern, still pretty much the same. Warm out to the west, northeast, and eastern U.S. Very cold with a lot of late effect snow potentials. And even for December 8th, we see that Alberta clipper, probably a few inches, slushy inches for the northeast. And even before that, you see another one here. That's very crazy that we really see some of these snow events to come. But we do have a lot of late effect snow. A lot of late effect snow. The Canadian here, just once again, this is a very cold model too. This is into the 30th, and then we see that late effect snow, and then we see that first Alberta Clipper. That would just bring even more stronger winds, another even more late effect snow, and then you see even colder air. And then we see another little snow, but you really see a pattern going to 240 hours out. You really have just a consistent pattern. Very, very cold. All right. We have not seen this in quite a few years. And, daytime highs barely making it out of the 30s if you're lucky across the entire Northeast. Besides, if you're along the coast in like Philly and that, I mean, you're still going to be in the 30s and low 40s. But I'm talking about like interior Northeast and even New York City. Very, very cold temperatures. And like I said, now we're going to start ending this up here. Snowfall for this year in the Northeast is already starting to make a footprint. Better than last year at this time in November. So we are going to have to watch this in the coming weeks and watch how much snow accumulates before the end of November. Because if we take a recap of this November and last November, we can definitely sneak out a bit more. So we look at the late. So we look back here. This is pretty much the recap. Drier and warmer towards the west and south. New pattern, snowy and much colder. Arctic blast is going to be at least 10 days. An Arctic blast for at least 10 days. And then you got the big late effect storm story. I won't be here on Friday and probably Saturday. So I will not be recording until Sunday or Monday. So we're going to have to wait and see. That's going to wrap it up. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.